Welcome to the Let's Talk BS podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Sofia, and we're coming to you live from the
757.
Good morning, Bryan.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing well. It's Friday, I love it. Love it. Told you, second favorite day of the week, behind Sunday. Good old Sunday,
The Lord's Day.
The Lord's Day. Yeah. The day of rest, as they say, right? Definitely. How was your week?
Oh, it was good.
How was New Year's? Yeah, New Year's was Sunday into Monday. What'd you guys do for New Year's?
We didn't do anything, honestly. So the day before, it was funny because I don't know. I don't remember ever really celebrating New Year's like that. But this year, I made spaghetti, right? Mm-hmm. And so my kids were like, we're eating spaghetti for New Year's. I was like, but I'm making a New Year's brunch. But the day before, this is what we're eating. We haven't had it in months. Yeah. So yeah. I made them spaghetti, and then that on New Year's, I made a dish that I had never made before. I made fish and grits with a Creole sauce. Okay. Which it hit. It was so good. Yeah, it was really good.
It sounds
good. I've messed up some grits in my day.
Okay.
Because I didn't grow up eating grits. Yeah. So I used to always be like, why my grits taste so gritty?
Yeah.
But I got them right this time.
Yeah, grits is one of those things where if you mess up making them, you instantly know, when you first take a bite into them. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in there with the flick of the wrist this time, though.
Flick of the wrist. That's good.
Yeah.
I grew up eating grits, man. That was something that my mother used to make, and I used to make. Even the restaurant that my grandparents had, that was something that they had, and they were known for, was their stone ground grits.
Stone ground grits. What does that mean?
I think it's just the kind of grits that's made. Some people do the instant grits that you can have. I know there was cream of wheat as well growing up.
That's the brand name.
I think. Again, I don't know. I just remember that was the name. It was stone ground grits. Matter of fact, let me see if I can Google it real quick and see if there's some type of.
Well, the grits I got was just some old-fashioned grits. That's what it was called.
Okay.
So it was good though. I'm not gonna lie. I put Gouda cheese in them, a little salt, a little pepper, butter. Mm-hmm. It was fire. I even liked them, and I'm not even a grits fan.
Stone ground grits. I guess it's just
the brand name.
Yeah, I guess kind of like a brand or kind of like a type of grit.
Okay.
Yeah. But those hit. I know growing up, they were really, really good, and I've even had some. What's it called? Has a good. They have a good brunch. What's the name of it? Because for Christmas we went to the Founders Inn and had what do you call it? Brunch with Santa, I guess you can say. And they had some grits there, and I know were pretty good too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like oatmeal over grits.
Yeah, I'm a fan of oatmeal too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I must say that it turned out good.
That's good.
Yeah, I was pleased.
Did y'all stay up, or did you?
I
did the
did
kids stay up till midnight?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Me and the kids, everybody stayed up till midnight.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah, so it was good. And then by 12:05, I was in the bed asleep. Yeah. It didn't take me long to go back to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't for New Year's.
And I usually go to sleep early. I'm usually the person that's in the bed at my normal time. But for some reason, this particular day, I think. I don't know what I did earlier that day, but I wasn't as tired. Mm-hmm. Like I am now.
Right, yeah.
But I ended up staying up. So I stayed up. I relaxed, of course. I was in the bed, but I just couldn't fall asleep. So I was up by default. And then Amaya came in the room and was like, are we going to, drink because I buy them the sparkling apple juice.
Yeah, we got that too. Yeah.
And so they're like, we're going to drink this, and then they get to actually use my
champagne glasses.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we did the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, and we did that, and then I was like, okay, 12:05, shut it down.
Yeah, we went to New Year's Eve? So Sunday morning we went to brunch. We went to get brunch from the Bean and the Biscuits, a spot that we really like.
I've never been there before.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good. You got to get there. Like it's crazy because the wait there is absolutely insane. But
I mean, all of them are Egg Bistro. Wait is insane.
I've been all of them. This one different.
Bay Local.
See, I'm talking about this one is like hour and a half, 2 hour joint. Like I'm talking about like on a Wednesday, like in the middle of the week where there's nothing going on. Like it's ridiculous.
I don't go to brunch in the middle of the week. But
like during the summertime, you know. I mean, that's. Typically if I go in the middle of the week, or just sometimes like Brooke and I will try to go when the kids are gone to school. We'll try to maybe go on a weekday or whatever. But yeah. Anyway, it was really this time we got there right before the crowd because we went pretty early. We went around like 8:30, and then literally we had to wait. Our wait was 25 minutes, but it ended up only taking like 5 or 10 minutes. It was really really cold that day too, because they have it like outside. There's no place to like wait inside. It's like outside. But they had like this nice little mimosa like bar set up outside. So like that's what most people do is they hang out, get a mimosa or whatnot while they wait.
That's how Bay Local set up.
Yeah, exactly.
One of them at least. I don't know about all of them, but
yeah, the one on short drive is like that. But yeah, so we did that. I ended up seeing Angie. Shout out to Angie. I know Angie that does the rental, does the property management for Onyx.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was there, her and her family. So we spoke to them. They actually came in like 20 minutes after us, and they had to wait for like almost an hour. So we kind of talked to them for a little bit while we were waiting for our food. But we went to brunch. That was pretty cool. The kids love it. So did Brooke and I. And then after that, I kind of got the itis. I came home, laid down. We cleaned up a little bit. There was some football on, some college bowl games. So we watched football. And then I walked over to my buddy Shao's house. We had a cigar and a drink. We talked about the fellas getting together and just kind of having a toast, bringing in the new year. So we did that early, though. We did that like around like 6, 7 o'clock, like right when it got dark. And then I came back home and, we had food at the house. We ate and all that. But like I was getting tired, man. And so were the kids. But they wanted to stay up. We attempted to stay up till midnight, but like around 10:30, man, I was like, yeah, I ain't got it in me. So I ended up falling asleep. And then I woke back up at like, it was shortly after midnight, maybe like 12:30, and just said, Happy New Year. We did a Happy New Year thing, and then went back to sleep. So, yeah. But I normally do stay up, though. That's the thing. Like, I normally do actually stay up. Like, this was probably one of the years that I can remember recently where I did not stay up. But I don't know. I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. So.
You said it, not me.
Yeah. I am. I'm getting old. Definitely getting old. But yeah, what else you had going on this week? Anything else? New year? Got any new? I think we kind of talked about the last podcast. Do you have like any new resolutions or goals or anything that you're working towards or trying to accomplish this year at all?
I do, but I mean, I pretty much said them all in the last episode.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple, man. Just trying to get more deals as far as like new construction, on the side, put a heavier, just like vet more deals and try to actually get some more. Obviously, we do mortgages, so that takes up a lot of my time. But I'm trying to actually get out here and get a little bit more deals, make some more connections when it comes to that type of thing. And then also just get in better shape, like everybody says. I mean, it's not necessarily a resolution, but for me, it's just like, I consistently work out for the most part. Like I'll have a week or two where I may not, but I consistently work out. But just getting better at it and trying new things when it comes to my regimens and different things that I do, and then just eating a little bit better.
I tried Pilates last Saturday. I think it was. Yeah, it was last Saturday, and it was fun. It was different. And my daughter went with me and my oldest. And so we went, and it was funny because, like, she was sitting right next to me, and she was like, I don't feel anything. And I was like, girl, that's because you're not doing it right. So then the instructor had to come and show her how to do it. So then we get to this one exercise where you're laying on this board, and this board moves back and forth. And then it's these strings that are straps that are behind you. And you're supposed to take your feet from the front of you and put them back, and then roll your feet forward, and it moves your whole body back and forth. So then when you get a hang of that, you round your legs and then, basically make your legs go in a circle.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I've seen that before on TV.
And the inside of my thighs was burning. I mean, like, everybody in that class was probably, I would say, in their either 30s or maybe high 20s to maybe, there was one lady who was a little bit older. She probably was like 50, right?
So you was the old head in the class, is what you saying?
I ain't 50.
I said, I know, she was one. You said one person.
That was just one. It was like
okay.
10 of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
And then it was two girls that were probably, if they weren't 30, they were like 28.
Yeah.
Right? And then Amaya. And so everybody besides Amaya was like, oh, wait, hold on, wait. We wasn't expecting that. And it hurt so bad. Like, I felt like my skin was literally on fire in between my thighs. Like, I was like, whoa, I ain't never felt that before. And the lady was like,
Using the muscles that you probably don't really
don't ever use.
Yeah.
Ever.
Is that something that you would go back and do again? Would you would you do it again just like to do it, or would you like consistently like go and try to
So my goal is to actually start a membership there. Okay. But I feel like with me, I have to get into the swing of working out again with the membership that I have. Okay. Before I go and start a new one.
Gotcha. So it's levels. It's
levels to it. Yeah. So now I have consistently. Last week I didn't work out because I had 2 sick kids and husband was on duty, so it was kind of hard to get out because they were sick, but they also had high fever. So I didn't want to leave them alone. You know what I mean? Because anything can happen at any moment. A fever could spike, and I'm scared of seizures. So I just don't want to put them in a predicament where I'm not around and that happens, right?
Yeah.
So last week I really didn't work out as much, but the week before, I went like 3 or 4 days. I even went skating. This week, I've been to the gym twice. I'm going skating again. And then I'll probably do 1 weekend exercise. So if I can do that for, let's say, the next 2 months, and then I'll incorporate like Pilates. And even when I was there, the guy was like, you know, Pilates is a good workout, but you have to do other stuff too.
Yeah, you can't solely
that
do that.
alone is not
sense.
Going to get you in shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he was very honest about it. He was like, it's good. It's more so, I believe, I could be wrong, but I think Pilates is more for toning than actually losing weight.
It was a dude that was like the instructor?
No. No, it was a dude. The guy, he was an instructor, but they swapped out.
Okay. So he was probably like the person kind of taking people in,
correct,
checking people in.
Yeah.
And stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It was 3 of them there. It was the front desk person. It was one instructor, and it was him. He was an instructor. Okay. So when we did our class, the woman was the instructor. So he probably had the afternoon classes or something. I don't know.
Gotcha.
But it was fun though. I would do it again.
That's
Most definitely, I would do it again.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So. Yeah. What about besides that? What you had going on?
Let's see. I said New Year's Eve, we did that. New Year's Day, it was decent weather-wise. I went golfing. That was fun. The fellas.
I don't remember what I did that day.
Yeah,
was that a Saturday? No, Monday.
Monday, yeah. It was this past Monday. So, yeah, this past Monday, I went golfing over at Greenbrier Country Club. Thinking about getting a membership there. We'll see. I know I got to see if Brooke will sign off on that. I don't think she wants us to get any more expenses, so we'll see. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Me and the fellas went. Shal Sherman and my buddy Malcolm, he actually came as well, and I came as second. Me and Malcolm was battling out on the last hole, and he got me by 2 strokes. So it was cool. It was really, really cool. We was talking junk to each other. You know, we had some drinks and stuff and some food. Shout out to the chef, the cook, I guess you can call it. The cook. Yeah, it's not like a restaurant. So they have well, it is kind of like a little restaurant they have in there. Shout out to the cook there, man. They had some chicken sandwiches. Them joints was good. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, he had chicken, like there's cheese on it, like this like mayo Creole, whatever you call it, sauce, like aioli sauce. Yeah. It was. Would you laugh if I said it wrong? But it was good. It was really, really good, man. So I played golf on New Year's Day, and then it was some pretty good football games too. College football games. The Rose Bowl came on. Michigan beat Alabama, and Washington beat Texas. So that was pretty cool.
Every time B start talking about sports and golf and stuff like that, all I hear is the Charlie Brown womp, 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 womp.
And speaking of Charlie Brown, which is crazy, my son, man, he actually likes the Charlie Brown Christmas like we put it on when we were like watching like our Christmas stuff or whatever. And this was the first time us actually, putting the Charlie Brown one on or whatever.
Oh, I never
Because we typically
that.
watch like a lot of the modern day things that come out Christmas wise.
What's modern day stuff?
Just like
Home
Christmas
Alone?
movies. Yeah, yes and no. I mean, we watched Home Alone before, but typically, just like the little Christmas movies that come out, like the Lifetime Christmas movies, the new movies that come out like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we watched that. Like I said, we went to go see Willy Wonka around that time as well. That was
I never
cool.
seen the Charlie Brown. Nothing.
On Christmas,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
I never was a fan of Charlie Brown when I was growing up, so that's probably why.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool. Like my son, he watched it and he was like, "Yo!" Like he just thought like how the kids interact, how they move around, because the technology is so old. That cartoon was like I think in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. But just seeing their legs and how they eat and stuff, he was just like looking like he was like, "Yo, like what is going on?" Like he was just so like it was pretty funny. But yeah. So we did that on New Year's Day, and then this week, honestly, I've been hitting the ground running as far as work goes. I've had a lot of applications come through. A lot of people hit us up in regards to just trying to purchase, trying to refinance. I think a lot of people are seeing, a lot of positivity in the market. They're seeing where we are with things. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
I think the job report comes out today.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that. Okay.
I believe so. So that's going to definitely directly impact rates and how they're looking.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. What about, I know the big thing that a lot of folks have been talking about the last couple of days is that Katt Williams interview. Did you check that out at all?
So I'm like an hour and a half into the interview.
Okay.
And a lot of people are saying that the reason why he went in on everybody is because he was trying to basically put himself back out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is. That's all alleged,
Yeah.
But the interview so far is hilarious because Buddy said he got college acceptance at 7. So all I could do is look at Jada and be like,
uh-oh.
Hold on, wait. Where y'all acceptance?
I'm about to get Niall up too. Now I'm 5. I'm like, look, bro, you got about a year and a half.
Listen, you need to be reading chapter books.
Yeah, my man said he read 300 books a year? Did you
3,000, not 300.
Yeah, I missed a zero.
Yes.
3,000 books a year?
Yes.
Ain't no way.
I was thinking
And he said it was all nonfiction books too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not
3,000 books a year.
That's crazy.
I was like, 3,000? What you reading?
That's what I'm saying. What nonfiction book at the age of 7 that's 3,000 of them?
I don't even know if they got 3,000
total. That's what I'm saying.
Nonfiction.
And because he grew up in the 80s. He was because Katt 50. You know what I mean? So it's
I don't know. Do they even got back then?
I don't know.
Somebody needs to look that up. How many nonfiction books did they make during that time frame? It wasn't over 3,000.
And how is he getting all these nonfiction books? Just think about that.
The library. I mean, the library was huge. I remember when I was a kid, I went to the library all the time.
I did too, but what I'm saying is that you had to rent a book. You had to pay for it most of the time when you rented a book. So I'm like...
At the library? No, they're free.
No, I thought libraries you had to...
No, the library is free.
Oh, okay. Well, you just had to bring it back. I think it was bring it back.
You had a week or something like that.
But you had to pay for a library card or something, right? It was something that
initially, it was $20 for a library card or something like that. But you pay one time.
Okay, that's right.
And then you go and you check out the book, and then you just have to bring it back. Now, if you don't bring it back, however, then they'll charge you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I remember I had to pay for something.
Barnes and Nobles is where you pay.
Yeah. I remember I had to pay for something, but it was the library. Well, not me personally, my parents did. But I remember paying for my parents paying for the library card. For some reason, I was thinking you had to pay every time you rented a book, but I guess that's not true.
No, because if you were your parent would have to go and sign you up, but as a kid, if you were Maya's age, you can go and check out books.
Yeah.
You didn't have to have your parents with you. So.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. He was 7. So, that's a lot of trips to the library. That's a lot. I just think that's kind of crazy. But the interview, like I said, like you were saying, it was hilarious, man. It was...
College should have been a breeze for him.
Yeah.
Listen, 3,000 books a year?
Yeah, but see, he moved out at home at age 13, he said in the interview. So it's he didn't even graduate high school. Or, I don't even know if he graduated middle school by then. Do you know what I'm saying? At age 13. So... But that's even crazy too, living out on your own and, you know, going to a totally different place at that age, man. Like
I can't imagine.
Yeah, that's crazy. I couldn't imagine that either. Like, I mean, but the interview, like I said, it was good. He came at every single person. He didn't come at Dave Chappelle. He had receipt. Well, yeah, I mean, he didn't come at Dave Chappelle, but he didn't come at him because he has a good relationship with him. Is what he said. Yeah, he said that he's never had any issue with them. You know, as far as like, you know, him lying or him saying, you know,
Did
things.
he come at Chris Rock? I don't think so, right?
I don't think so. I don't remember his name being mentioned. Yeah, I don't remember. I know he mentioned the slap, the Will Smith.
Oh, yeah, he mentioned that, yeah.
I don't think after
but
that,
he never said anything else. Okay. Yeah, I got to finish watching it, but so far, it's hilarious. And then Shannon Sharpe, listen, if it's the Gators kid, it's the gay. He is that.
Yo, he is. Look, I'll tell you, that interview, look, I'll tell you one thing. That interview, it was great. Everybody I talked to has said the same thing. The fellas, we were talking about it. Even, look, it got me, I ordered, last night, I ordered Shannon Sharpe's cognac. I bought 3 bottles of it last night just because, like, they were sitting there drinking it and stuff. I, like, you know, so I know, like, that was a part. He had, like, the commercials, like, where he would promote it, talk about it or whatever. That joint got me sold. I went ahead and bought a couple bottles of the cognac, you know, especially when Katt sipped it and he was like, yeah, it got the certain notes. It don't have the wood chips and, you know, it has the berries and all this or whatever. I was like, okay. I was like, all right,
artificial flavor. He was like, it doesn't have artificial flavors. And then Shannon was like, oh, you know your cognac.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like me a good cognac.
I don't know, man, because I feel like I don't know my cognac, but I knew what he said. Yeah. I knew enough.
Yeah. I like a good cognac too, man. So, but yeah, the interview was funny, man. I seen a couple people already started to respond to, and honestly, the stuff that they said, it seems like there was a lot of truth to what Katt has been saying. So, you know, they weren't really like poking and saying, oh, no, it's not true. It was more so like, well, you went about it the way that you went about it, and I went about it the way I went about it. You know what I mean? And so that tells me that there was probably a lot of truth to it. I think he embellished on a lot of this stuff. Like we said, the 3,000 books, the college acceptance letter. I mean, if those are true, that's what's up. But it seems kind of a little far fetched, you know.
I think he was probably really smart.
Yeah, no, you could tell. I could tell just even when you could tell how when he was getting asked the questions, how he was like digesting the information and really like being really articulate and calculating what he wanted to say. And you could just tell. I could tell he's a pretty smart dude. Even I remember back Pimp Chronicles watching that when I was in college. Like
when he said he wrote the movie, well, not the whole movie, but he wrote the part for
the Money Mike
in Friday After Next.
Yeah, yep.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems like a smart guy, but I just don't know about the whole college acceptance. I want to see the letter.
Yeah.
I want to see this college acceptance letter, because if you don't got it, the college got it. Somebody got it.
Yeah, and he was coming at Steve Harvey, talking about his hair.
Oh, man, I was weak.
I was actually, it's funny, so I was watching the interview last night. Like, I watched it during the day a little bit while I was working, and then, you know, when the kids came home, you know, they occupied the TV. So once they went back to sleep, I started watching it again last night, and I got like 30 minutes myself, so I'm not all the way done with it either. But I actually kept pausing it. When he would say some like really like outlandish things, I would pause it and kind of like go Google and look up stuff. And that's why I said some of the stuff I went back and fact checked. Like, it was pretty legit. Like, the Steve Harvey thing, after he said what he said about Steve Harvey, and then Steve Harvey started doing the bald head look. Like, it happened, like the time frame is right around the same even the Comic View part that he was talking about, Cedric the Entertainer, like had took his lines, you know, his joke, I guess you could say. I went and looked that up. That was true as well. So, I mean, a lot of the stuff that he was saying that I just looked into, like a handful of them, was factual. So it was funny. It was interesting, man.
I'm still a believer that there's I think I sent you the song a long time ago. So Bryan has a friend that's a singer, Eric Penn.
Yeah, shout out to E.
And he has this song called Catastrophic, I think it is.
Yeah.
And I really like that song. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, that song sounds like a famous person's song right now. It's in the news. On his album.
I said it to him, but he said it wasn't the same. But I guess it.
I mean, he's a musician. He's an artist, so I believe that. But I'm telling you, if you break that song down, it sounds exactly the same.
Yeah. But it does sound similar. I remember when you pointed that out to me, I actually kind of listened.
Very similar.
And I was like, yeah, and that's when I shot him a text, and he said it was he said it was different, but it does sound very similar. I know
Yeah.
I know his buddy, the dude Brandon, is the one that like produces pretty much all of his music. So he probably got some type of inspiration. Well, actually, Catastrophic came out before Diddy's song
Way
came
before.
out. Oh, I said his name too. I should
Yeah.
say his name. My bad.
Look.
Yeah, my bad. Might have to have the folks edit that one. Oh no, my bad.
That is funny.
Yeah. But I think people knew who you were talking about though. For real.
Nah, they didn't know.
No. Okay. Maybe not. But yeah, that's that Katt Williams interview, man. It was funny. I'm gonna definitely check it out by the end of this weekend. Try to watch the rest of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it in the car. I mean, I'm listening to it in the car.
I saw a movie, man, because I haven't been able to sit down and watch a movie in a while. Like, I've been to the movies with the kids, but like actually watch like an adult movie, I guess you could say. I watched the movie over the New Year's break, like over that weekend. I forget the name of it, but it has Leonardo DiCaprio in it and Robert De Niro. It was really, really good. Let me see if I can find the name of it real quick. But it was talking about, it was like this scheme that they had. And this is real, the truth. They had these white people who would, and this is back, in the heyday, but they had these folks that were like, the Indians had this land, right? And then they had these white folks that were like marrying these Indians and then they were secretly like poisoning them and killing them to be able to now take over their land and have that money. It was crazy. Let me see if I can find the name of the movie real quick. But it was like a 3.5 hour movie.
So over the break, I braided my daughter's hair because her birthday is today. So shout out to my 15-year-old.
Okay.
And
happy birthday.
I watched this show called The Lioness.
Okay.
And it stars. If you guys ever seen Colombiana, you remember that
I've seen
movie?
that. Zoe Salonda, whatever her name
Yes,
is. Yeah,
it stars her, and I feel
Yeah.
like she's an amazing actor when it comes to that type of film. Like when she's an assassin, she's a very good one.
Yeah.
In her movies, and this series called Lioness is very good. I like it a lot.
I have to check it out. But the movie that I was talking about is called Killers of the Flower Moon. And it was crazy. And Robert De Niro his name.
What is it on? What platform?
I ordered it off Apple
TV?
TV, I believe it was. Yeah. It was like, I think I rented it for like $15 or something like that. But the reviews, you see, it has a 93% Rotten Apple joint. And Leonardo DiCaprio is like he's based. Jack Nicklaus is my favorite actor of all time, but Leo is like top 3. Like he's up there. So like I seen it had really good reviews. I checked it out, and it was a 3.5 hour movie, and literally I watched it, and Brooke was even hooked. She was like, yo, when the kids go down, we got to watch the rest of the movie. Like, I was like, all right, cool. So it was a really, really, really good movie. I definitely recommend people to check it out if they haven't seen it yet or whatever. But it was, and I went and looked it up, because that's what I do. Like, after a movie, I went to see, like, is this, like, real for real? And I looked it up, like, the people, their names and all that were real. Like,
it was based on a real
yeah,
true
it's based on a true story. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it was crazy, man. But yeah, it was really, really good, and just the acting, De Niro, and the banter that they had throughout the movie, man, it was really, really dope. Like I said, it was a 3.5 hour movie, but it didn't feel like it at all. It was really good. The storyline and all that stuff was good. But
okay.
But yeah, I definitely recommend that. I'm gonna check out that show that you said as well, Lioness. I'll check that out. I like Zoe. She's pretty dope. I've seen her in a couple of stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then did you see the the convict or the felon? I don't even know. The guy who jumped over the.
I already know what you're saying.
What is that area called for the judge? I don't even know.
Shoot. The bench, the judge's bench, I guess.
Yeah. So
that joint was
the
crazy.
guy leaped. It was like he was a gazelle. Like
Yo,
he didn't even use his arms.
Did you see her face? Like when she she was looking down doing her stuff,
up,
and she looked up and see it, and her she was like, it was like
she couldn't even move.
Yeah, she couldn't even move. Dog.
But the way Buddy jumped over, like he literally was all legs. Like he jumped.
He didn't even touch the bench.
No,
he literally,
like
you said,
use his arms.
He just leaped like
It looked fake.
I
think I commented it was like Buddy could have been a stunt double. Like the way he jumped over.
But I didn't even hear. Like I guess because I got a group chat with some of the fellas I grew up with. And that's in a group chat, man. That's what they do is they'll post like crazy stuff that happens or whatever. So I didn't I didn't, I guess, hear about it or whatever, but then I seen like the text messages. I had like, because I keep that group chat on silent, so I had like 70 text messages. So I went and looked to see what they were talking about, and that's what they were talking about. And so I played like the video, and like, man, I didn't even, like, I don't even know what happened. Like, was she saying, was she giving him like
she basically told him
that
no, she wasn't going to approve his
probation or something.
No, his well, I think it was, I believe
parole. Parole.
No, I believe it was bail.
Oh,
she didn't approve him to be let out on bail.
Oh, okay.
And so he was like,
but that he gotta understand that ain't gonna make it better though. Like that's gonna make it worse.
Oh, you got, if you are a follower of any social media platform and you have not seen this video, every time it's a funny video, I go straight to the comments. And in the comments, they ate him up. They was like, well, if you think that it was a bad thing getting, her not allowing you to get bail, for that, they gonna lock Buddy up and throw away the key for doing what he did.
They say gonna put him under the jail, as they say, right? Put him under the jail. Like, that's crazy. My man jumped over the joint. Like, I mean, literally, I watched it a couple of times because I was like, hold on, because it happened so fast. I was like, hold on, what happened? And he
was like on her. Like, it took 3 men to get him the strength that he has. Yeah. It took 3 men to get him off of her, and you can tell that she was still smothered or like on some. They were on top of her in some way.
Yeah, I wonder if he.
And I feel bad for her because I mean
that was crazy.
She's just doing her job. Yeah. She's just looking at the law, right, and she's seeing what now. But could she give him leniency? Yes, because with the law, there's always, the worst and the best case scenario. So who knows? But I mean, she's still doing her job.
It is her job. I'm not trying to defend his actions in any way, but when it comes to those things, though, like if a person's going to get bail or not, that is a judgment decision based on the judge. You know what I mean? So,
of course.
So it's not like it's like a something, hey, you did this, you can or cannot get bail. So based on, they look at it, they decide. So it's he, was hoping, I'm assuming, to get bail, I guess, as you said, and it didn't happen. So he felt that she was personally vindictive in that situation.
That could be the case. It just depends. You
just never know.
You never know what he did before.
Because there's been situations where I've seen, like I know personally, like judges, and I've had conversations with them where like they like, if they don't like you or they they're supposed to not. If you know the person, you're supposed to not have that type of relationship, but. Like there are situations where they could personally they're in the position of power where they could.
But there's also an abuse of power, which 100%. I understand. Yeah,
100%. But that joint was crazy. That was why I definitely seen him jump over.
I still don't think that she should have gotten, in a sense, beat up.
Oh no, that's not. That's not right at all. That's not right at all. My question in my head. What are the questions that came up in my head? Because when something crazy like that happened, I always have questions in my head, right? So one of the questions I had was did Buddy premeditate, like prematurely, say, hey, if she say no, I'm gonna do this, or was it just he was sitting there and when she said no, he just lost it?
Yeah, that's true.
I kind of want to know which one, which
probably a little bit of both.
Yeah,
probably a little bit of both.
Yeah. That was crazy. That was absolutely crazy.
That is.
Speaking of, go ahead. Go ahead. I was gonna go into mortgage real estate. So I was about to say, speaking of that and relationships, as we said. Because that, obviously in that situation, he lost his cool. And just like I've seen, I don't even know if you've seen this before. I've seen I want to say it was on social media as well, where a judge actually knew the person and the person was, I can't remember exactly, he was getting out of jail or something, he was kind of doing the same exact thing. It wasn't bail, but he was standing there before the judge, and the judge referenced hey, I remember you back from high school, and she was saying, I hope you get your life together, blah, 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 and she let him go or whatever, and then they followed. It was on CBS, and then they showed flashback to not flashback, but flash forward to where he is now, and he's this successful business person and all that, and he was really thankful, and him and that person who was the judge who let him go, I guess you can say, have a good relationship or whatever.
Oh yeah. You have some people who are habitual fuck ups, but then you have some people who learn their lesson the first time. I'm
and he started crying when she was saying like
all the good stuff about him from back in the day. Yeah.
Well, not even that, but like when they were standing there and she was making the decision, I guess if he could leave or not. He started crying because she started talking about, hey, like, she was like, I always wondered what you had going on and what you were up to. And he started crying because I don't know if in that moment if he thought maybe she was going to like, do like maybe like the person said and say, hey, you can't get out or whatever. Mm-hmm. But when she like said yes,
but he got emotional.
He was overwhelmed with emotions or whatnot. Yeah, and he actually, like you said, learned his lesson and turned out to be a good person in society.
Listen. Yeah. I am that person. Like I learn from my mistakes, but I also watch and learn from other people's mistakes.
That's the best way to do it.
Like I'm not the person that's going to see you do something and then me, if it's an absolute fail, I say, oh well, let me try it my way and see if it's gonna work. Nah, if you jump off a bridge and you die, I'm believing it. I'm not gonna try to jump off, sideways to see if it worked that time. No.
Well, they say a smart person learns from their mistakes, a wise person learns from others' mistakes. So, yeah, that's a bar right there, by the way.
No,
it's a recycled bar, but it's a bar.
I am done.
Okay.
Not a bar.
That's a bar.
So you're a rapper now.
See, you don't get the whole, was it with my man Hove, the double entendre? That's a bar. You get it, like we were talking about judging and law, bar, like the bar exam, bar is rap. Like I kind of double meaning,
Okay, JB.
Hove.
Let's
bring it back.
Definitely got to bring it back. In other news.
Right.
So as far as like our mortgage related stuff, there were some things that came up this week that were very unique and I wanted to address them.
Yeah.
So just yesterday we have like this mortgage group chat that we're both in, and it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe like 10 mortgage bankers, and we kind of like run scenarios just in case, we're at home and we don't have access to the guidelines and we just need like a quick, hey, do you know the answer to this question? Because we're not perfect. We forget things sometimes, like everybody else in this world. So
especially this time of the year where a lot of stuff has changed too. So
I mean, in mortgage, everything is forever changing. Yeah. Like if you are a person that does not like change, this ain't the job for you, because there is always change.
Yeah.
Throughout the year. I mean, there's change in rates every single day, every minute of the day.
Correct.
So
Correct.
So there's always change. But in this particular situation, a person had to provide their bank statement. So, of course, when you are buying a house, right, you have to provide your personal information, which includes a copy of your driver's license. Sometimes we ask for a copy of your social, depending on the circumstance. But in this particular situation, they wanted to provide us a copy. We asked for a copy of the bank statement. They redacted 40% of the bank statement.
Now explain what redacted means, because some people, I'm going to be honest with you. If I wasn't in this business, I wouldn't know what redacted means. So go ahead and explain for the people in the back, please.
I would hope that at this age, if you're listening to this podcast, that if you don't understand the meaning of redact, the way I used it in my sentence, it means something. The
context clues sometimes don't be cluing. Don't be cluing? Yeah,
okay.
So go ahead and explain for the folks,
So redacting means is for you to cover that information. So an example of that would be if you took a black permanent marker and you try to black out information on that said bank statement. So when we're looking at your documentation, we're also looking for terrorists, right? Mm-hmm. Anti-money laundering. Mm-hmm. We're trying to make sure that this is a legitimate person and it's not someone buying a house to do bad things with it, right?
Correct.
So,
or just fraud in general. I mean, just fraud in general
there's
fraudulent statements. Yeah. Like I was having a conversation. I was golfing actually with a buddy of mine who's also in the mortgage industry, and he was telling me that he had to go through the whole process of speaking, to the CFPB, and it was the fraud because a person had given fraudulent bank statements. So the bank statements looked just like a real bank statement from their bank, but it was not a real bank statement. He's like, you could tell just like the line was like the header and all that was like kind of going in a sideways direction, and just the deposits, the dates on it didn't match certain things. Correct. And so he had to actually call it out and have a conversation about that.
Exactly.
So we got to check for that stuff, man.
We have to check for those types of things. So just so you're aware, do not redact your information. I even had someone. This is what got me, right? Yeah. I had a DOD worker. So some pay stubs don't show as much information on them as others. And so there's different pay stubs that will show like your social, your name, everything in regards to you, your date of birth and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So she took the pay stub and redacted or tried to black out her information. And to me, I'm just thinking like, okay, well, how do you fill out an application with me where you provide me your name, your social, your date of birth, everything about you, but then you try to remove this information from a piece of paper?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it either,
They
man.
don't even add up.
Yeah, it's like we already got all that stuff. So like, why is it like I don't know, man.
I don't understand it.
The biggest thing
all.
I've seen though, like on bank statements, was is like just the account numbers and stuff. People feel like, I guess because we know, because the account number is on your bank statement or whatever, like we're gonna like, I don't know, take your money or something. I don't know. I don't even know what the thought behind it is. I've never really asked somebody why they do that, but I mean, just because you have someone's account number doesn't mean you can like take money from the account. Like you still have to like identify yourself and all that, right? I mean, I don't know. I know you were in banking. I don't know.
Yes, you can. There is
because I know
many
for instance,
means of ways of doing fraud.
Yeah,
but
for instance,
but if
like,
you're coming to me and asking me for $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, then you're going to provide me what I need in order to give you this money. It's just point blank, period.
Because you're like, I got properties, right? I got real estate. So like, I have a couple of our tenants, they just go to the bank, like that we bank with, one of our business accounts, and they just deposit the money in the bank.
They can do fraud on you.
So, yeah, so what I'm saying, though, is that, like, if they go to the bank and say, hey, I'm Bryan Royster, because they have my account number, right? They have our account number so they can put the money in the account. Yeah. So my question, though, is, like, just because you have someone's account number doesn't mean you can access the account. You're still going to have to go through a level of identification to be able to access those funds, right? Am I right or wrong about that? So if I go to the bank and I just say, hey, I'm Bryan Royster because I know the person's name and I have the account number, I can start taking money out of the account? Nah.
Okay, so that's a very layered, I mean, yes and no, right? They're not going to be able to go in there with no ID and withdraw from your account. That's what I'm saying. No.
There's a level of identification that has to happen.
However, people, just like you said, your friend who's in mortgage found out a way where his client made fake bank statements.
Correct.
Someone can make a fake ID, put their picture on it. And
I get that. That's what I'm trying to say. But the part I'm saying is that's still, there's another level of identification that has to happen. They can't just say my name and go get money. Like they have to, you're right, they can go do fraud and create a driver's license with my name on it, but there's still, a person's going to ask, hey, can I get your ID? Something to identify. The account number alone is not enough to take money out of an account. Yeah. That's all I'm trying to say. Yeah.
So speaking of fraud, so back in my banking days, I used to work at this particular bank in Miami, Florida. Now, this particular bank was in the hood, y'all. So I worked at this bank and I worked in the hood. So I was probably 2 miles, not even 2 miles, maybe like a half a mile. I was on 58th Street and the projects was on 62nd. So just, put that into perspective if you have to count the streets by numbers, right? 58 to 62. So I'm 4 blocks away from these projects, right? And we had a certain type of clientele, you know what I mean, that walked into our branch. Every now and again, celebrities that were from Miami, and those are their hoods, I guess you could say, they would come and visit our location too. But for the most part, we had, a certain type of clientele. So one particular day, this lady walked in. She was younger, and she had all this money in this account. Well, she claimed to have all this money in this account. And so she walked in, and one thing about working in the bank, like we had to take training all the time about how people look and like really study them. So then that just in case we got robbed, we can kind of tell people what that person looked like, right?
Sense. Yeah.
So that was something that we did all the time, is to just be active on paying attention to what's going on, right? Yeah. So she came in and we were, just having a conversation. I just was talking to her, and she just started saying stuff that just gave me what they call red flags. I was like, this conversation doesn't even seem right. Like, she could start telling me, like, she lived in Brickell, and Brickell is a very, like, I could, at the time, me working in the bank, I couldn't afford to live in Brickell, right? And so when you live in Brickell, Miami, that's where, like, Drake and Kim Kardashian and, you know, all the more famous people live. You do have average people who live there, like doctors and lawyers and stuff like that. But then you also might have some people who live there that roommate together. But one individual making $50,000 to $85,000 a year can't afford to live in Brickell, right? Mm-hmm. So she had basically took an ID, put her information on it, and tried to act or present herself as someone else. But when I started asking her questions about Brickell, because I frequent Brickell, right? I was always down there.
You bougie. Yeah, bougie. That bougie town, you was in the bougie town.
Whatever.
I got you. Yeah,
I used to go to the spa in Brickell a lot.
Okay. That sounds like bougie behavior to you, actually.
Call it what you want to, but I did it. I'm telling you my life story, right?
Yep.
So when I started, like, having conversations with her about Brickell, she didn't know anything. And I was like, how the hell do you live in Brickell every single day and you don't know what's there? You know what I mean? Like, as far as to, like, the shops, the streets, it was just, like, little stuff that I was asking her. Like, if you have a candid conversation with someone and you just having, you know, talking, you know, whatever. Yeah. And she could, so then I was like, okay, I need a second ID. And she was like, oh, it's in my car. She walked up to her car, never came back. Yeah, ghosts. yeah. That's what's up. Did you tell, like, your manager anything about that? Oh, yeah, of course. I had to report it. I had to call the actual person's, whose account that was. That wasn't my only time catching fraud, but
so you actually spoke to the person, like, yo,
wow. Yeah. Because then we go through the security measures of telling them, like, hey, you need to put alerts on your socials, you know, because there's a difference between someone stealing an account number and then someone stealing your identity.
True.
So and one account number isn't as harsh because you can always change out an account number, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You can get a new debit card. But once someone knows your name, your date of birth, your address, your social, they can go anywhere and try to act as if they're you.
That's a fact.
And that's the part where you can't really control it unless you call the 3 credit bureaus and put freezes on your social. So then that way, when there's an application that goes through, you have to lift that freeze. So no one can apply for these different things. And I don't know if it's a cost to it or, you know, anything like that.
Probably is. You know, everything costs money.
Ain't nothing in life free, right? The air we breathe is
that's
a
crazy.
cost.
It costs money. Somebody took your identity, and now it costs money to protect yourself against other people doing
against other
Just
people.
Think about that a lot. That's crazy. You think
it
about
is.
It. Yeah,
it is.
That should be a free resource.
It
you know what I'm saying? It should be, but I know how the world is. At least how America is.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's one thing that you can do to protect yourself is put a lock on your social security numbers. Yeah. And if you've had identity theft in the past, I would definitely do that. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I've had, like, some little small identities that not, you know, people take, like, you know, the gas station, somebody get my card number or whatever.
Stuff
I had
like
little
that.
Small stuff, but nothing crazy, man. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Exactly. And it's a lot of it is done on elderly people.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of it happens from their family.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's how the information gets out.
I've done I think me and I've had a conversation with you before recently, like someone who's doing like a refinance or somebody's trying to sell their house and they got like these silent second mortgages or they got like a second mortgage on their home and they don't know nothing about it. And it's like a lot of times when you start asking more questions, like their son or their nephew is the one who normally kind of helps them handle their affairs and they just taking money, you know, using their property and taking money out of that or whatever, man, and finding out, you know, when it's time to sell the house or when it's time to refinance or whatever. So,
or even things like reverse mortgages.
Yep.
You know, that's a huge one. Like, I think that anytime, and this is my personal opinion, unless that person is savvy, because you have some elderly people who are very savvy when it comes to paperwork and documentation and like understanding things, but then you have some elderly people. I remember working in the bank, and there was people who couldn't read and write. They can count their money, but they couldn't write nothing down for you.
Yeah.
And so those are the type of people that are targeted, right?
Sure,
and so they get into these. I had a situation not long ago where someone called me and was like, "Hey, I need help. My mom did a reverse mortgage and she passed away 3 months ago." Well, if you're in a reverse mortgage, you have a certain amount of time that you have to pay that money back.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then there are penalties and consequences.
Yeah. Sometimes they
end up keeping the house
they
for the most part.
Yeah.
Because they pretty much just took the equity, gave it to you, or paid you monthly.
Yeah. And
it's just
it's crazy.
One of those situations where you just got to be careful, man.
Yeah, you do.
Protect your people, man. Yeah. Don't commit fraud against them. Protect them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because these are the same people that I'm pretty sure would give you.
Yeah, whatever they could within means that you're trying to get or whatever, like they would give it to you. Yeah, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
And so the other thing that came up in the news that I saw was, let me see, I wrote it down. Let me see. PMI. So if you're an individual who purchased a home and you purchased using a conventional loan and you now see that you have 20% equity in your property, you need to call and remove that mortgage insurance.
Yeah, I agree. So
definitely call. And if you're in a FHA or, type loan and you have 20% equity, refinance out of that loan product so you can remove that PMI.
Yeah.
Because that's an extra expense that you're paying that you don't have to pay.
Yeah, and the mortgage company who's servicing it, they're not going to reach out to you and
say,
"Hey, you're at 20%.
Nope.
Go ahead and remove this or call me and remove the mortgage insurance." They're not going to do that. They're not just going to arbitrarily just do it themselves.
Absolutely
you have to
not.
initiate that. So that's a big thing. That's a good thing that you brought that up, Sophia. That I've had a couple people who've reached out to me who were looking at refinancing or wanted to potentially refinance, but it didn't make sense as far as dollars and cents for them to refinance. But I was able to give them, instruction or guidance, say, hey, look, you can't like I said, you can refinance, but
it doesn't benefit you.
It doesn't benefit you right now to refinance. Mm-hmm. But what you can do is you can call your mortgage loan servicer and tell them to remove the PMI, because you're at a point now where you're under the 80% loan to value,
mm-hmm.
So once you're at that point, you can go ahead and get, and sometimes depending on your loan amount, because PMI is based off of your credit, and it's also based off of how much you put down as well. So depending upon how much you put down when you first purchased the home, you could be paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars of PMI, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're able to, let's say your payment is $2,400 a month, and
your PMI is $350.
Yeah, that's a significant savings
mm-hmm.
without having to go through the process of refinancing. It's literally just a phone call. Then what they do is they'll confirm what your current market value of your home is, and they do it in different ways where sometimes they just have it's called a BPO, where they could just kind of look it up themselves and kind of get an idea of what the value of your home is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as it's, under that 80%, then they'll remove it on the next billing cycle. Or sometimes they'll have to send an appraiser out and actually do an appraisal. And it's a more moderate type of appraisal. It's not a full-blown appraisal like it is when you're buying a house or when you're actually going through the refinance process.
They're just going out there to make sure that there's a house there.
Yeah. Just going through and doing it. But that's something that's huge that I think a lot of folks need to know and make sure that you're taking advantage of. And that's for mainly if you have a conventional loan, right? If you have a conventional loan already, those are the folks that can call up their loan servicer and at least inquire about it. I've told over the years, I've had my buddies, man, that were like, man, I'm so happy you did this, Bryan, because I told them about it. Shoot, I have a house in the Outer Banks. I did the same thing on that one. We bought it right before the boom or the pandemic. And so as soon as the house appreciated as quickly as it did, I called them up because I put 10% down on that one. Mm-hmm. So as soon as it appreciated where I was now at under 80%, I called them up, got the mortgage insurance removed off of it. So that's just now more money that we're able to net on the rent of the home. So that's a very key thing that a lot of folks need to make sure that they understand and that you have the ability to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that's something that what I'm going to do, I'm going to start doing, because I think I've mentioned it when people ask, but I'm going to make it a part of my duty follow up with people like that, and just honestly just let them know ahead of, let them know when they're buying the house. You know how we set people up, with the different loan products. They got a conventional loan, just make sure we have that conversation with them up front. I mean, if it's stick, it's stick. But like you said, that follow-up will be good as well. It'll be a good touch.
Yeah, I don't really do too many conventional loans, unfortunately. You know, I don't really have too many clients that have the credit or the down payment for a conventional loan, you know? Usually with me, it's one or the other.
You don't have those Brickle clients, is what you say? I've got the Brickle clients, man.
Look, I remember when I was working in Brickle and I would get doctors and lawyers and stuff who would come and deposit like $200,000-$300,000, and I was putting holds on every one of them checks because I was used to working in a different area, right? And so my manager had to come up to me and was like, "We don't put holds on those checks here because if you look at their accounts, this is something that they do regularly." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Right.
But it was just different. I got taught to do things one way here in Virginia, and this was the same company. It wasn't like I switched companies. I got taught to do one thing here in Virginia. I transferred to a location in Miami. And the way they did things was totally different because of the type of clientele that they attracted. So it was a learning curve. It was a learning experience. You know. So but I was happy I was able to like get both dynamics because I understand the benefit of, you know, working at the centers that are in the low income areas, and then I understand the benefit of working in the centers that are in the higher producing income areas. So
makes sense.
Real good. But that's it. What you got coming up? What you doing this weekend?
What I got this weekend? Tonight I'm doing the fella. So every year, me, my buddy Cavell, Christian, and Ray, we all get together. Cavell is a broker, real estate broker. Christian is a real estate agent. Ray's a Class A builder. And we just kind of get together throughout the years. We talk and communicate, but we don't really catch up, see how each other's doing personally, business-wise, what they were, kind of keep each other, basically our accountability partners, I guess you could say, right? We'll keep each other accountable for what we want to accomplish in that year or the year that's coming up. So we always get together around this time of year, like end of December, top of January. So we're actually linking up tonight for that. I'm looking forward to that. It's always good laughs. As we actually, Ray picked out the place this time. We're going to Admiral Steakhouse, which is it's in the Portsmouth Casino.
Oh, okay.
They said it's
so y'all gonna gamble too?
I don't. Well, I probably will. I ain't gonna lie to you. If it's right there, which is, I mean, from my understanding, that
you gonna walk right past it.
Yeah, I see that craps table. Gonna start calling my name. I'm gonna start shaking. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Well, let me test some dice.
That is funny.
Yeah, but we're supposed to link up tonight and do that. They're not really big gamblers, from my understanding. So I probably won't. I may just go by for a second though. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. I don't know. But yeah, we're gonna go link up for that tonight. So that should be pretty cool. And then this weekend, I know Niall and Sloan both got invited to birthday parties. So I'll be taking Niall to one birthday party, and Brooke will be taking Sloan to the other. And then Sunday, I'm excited. Niall starts basketball, which is I think I mentioned it on the previous podcast, where their games are on Sundays for this season or whatever, for this league. So he has his first game. So he's excited. We've been practicing literally every single day for like the last maybe 2 to 3 weeks about basketball. So he's ready to put his skills to the test and see where he is amongst his, his fellow kids and peers at his age. Yeah. So he's excited about that. So I'm excited for him to see where he's at now that he's a little older and he's in a different league. So that's pretty much it. That's what you got. What you got going on?
Well, like I said, today is my daughter's birthday. She turned 15 years old.
Happy birthday.
So one of her presents is for her to get her ears pierced. A second hole, actually. I got her ears pierced when she was a baby, but to get a second hole. So I'll probably take her to go get her ears pierced. And then after that, I really don't know. She wants to have a sleepover. She's never had like an official like friend sleepover. So
for real? Never had nobody sleep over before at the house?
No.
None of her friends? Interesting. Has she stayed at somebody else's house before?
So, okay, let's reach, like, there's this one girl in the neighborhood where they kind of grew up together. And so because of that dynamic, they have stayed at each other's house. But that's not like, to me, that's more so the parents knowing each other and
so
being
they're not
cool.
Friends then? It's not like they're cool. But they're cool, right? I guess.
Like right now, are they still friends?
Well, I guess whenever the.
Yes, I mean, obviously they became friends off default.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like their friendship brought that together. Y'all.
It was an all-in-one type of thing,
okay.
right?
Okay, cool.
We all met each other at the same time, and then they eventually started to become friends. We became friends, so it was a different dynamic.
Gotcha.
To me, sometimes when you have a sleepover, you really don't even know the parents that well. You might know of them. Yeah. You have like just like your son's friend, the little girl. Like you don't talk to their parents all the time. They're not your friends, but you know of them, and
correct.
you know,
kind of like that. And stuff like that.
Some similar to that, where you don't really hang out with them.
Yeah.
So she's probably gonna have a sleepover, but we'll see. I don't know. I haven't really thought even though her birthday's today, I still haven't fully agreed to that.
Yeah, we coming off of Christmas, man. So I know she probably got hooked up for Christmas. So I mean, I think she'll.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She definitely got hooked up. My daughter, she wanted a record player, so we got her a record player, and then now she has all these records, and so she's like into the whole records and the albums and stuff like that. It's so funny watching her hold them. I had to teach her look, this ain't what you think it is. Fingerprints matter.
Oh yeah.
You gotta wipe it off. You might have to blow it a couple times.
Yeah. They ain't grow up in the blowing stage. They grew up blowing them cartridges and all that on the Sega joint. Yeah.
Yeah. So then we'll probably I know I'm gonna go skating. I don't know if she's gonna come, but she said she wanted to do ice skating, so I might drop her and her friends off and do that, and then I go across the street because they're right across the street from each other. Yeah. I don't like ice skating for the simple fact of it's cold there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't like to be cold when I'm doing activities. I feel like if you're cold and you're skating and you fall, it hurts worse.
Yeah. I mean, ice skating is most of the time it is going to be cold.
I know, but what I'm saying is when you're cold and something happens, it hurts worse, right?
100%.
Am I tripping?
100%. No, I played football. When it was cold outside,
it hurt worse.
It hurt way worse when I got hit or hit the ground.
And I keep telling her that, it's not, that's not a good feeling. You fall in the skating ring, the roller skating ring, you'll be fine. You get up. But you fall on that ice, your head's cold, everything's just cold. And I told her, I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. You on your own with that one. If that's what you and your friends want to do, that's fine with me, but I'm not doing it.
I feel you on that one. Yeah. But I've never been ice skating before. I do want to do it, though.
It's the same as rollerblading.
Yeah. I mean, that's what everyone says. I still just want to experience. I've never done it before. I want to do that, and I want to go skiing. I know I got a couple of buddies.
I want to do. I want to go skiing and snowboarding. I've been sledding plenty of times in my life, but I've actually I haven't really. I did ghetto snowboarding, so when I got on the sled, it was.
Oh.
I didn't have anything attached to my ankles or anything like that, but we played in the snow a lot. I've done a lot of stuff in the snow, but I've never went to a mountain and actually done it officially.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I want to do that for sure.
I told you talking about the ghetto joint. What we used to do I remember when I first moved here. What my dad used to have us do is we got Mount Trashmore here, right? So when it would snow, my dad would take me, and we had a dog at the time. This is before my sister was even born. But we would go to Mount Trashmore, and we would take either a big piece of cardboard.
Yeah, we did that too.
Yeah, or we would do a trash can lid. And we would go up there, and we would just, slide down there. Me and the dog would do it. My dad would do it with us. I was probably 6, 7 years old. And that joint was actually really fun. I remember my mom would be like, Bill, don't do that. Don't let him do that. Because we was flying. especially on the cardboard. We was flying down the hill.
Yes.
It was crazy.
I used to do crazy stuff like that too all the time. I remember one time, my boyfriend had a moped. This was my senior year. He had a moped. Okay. You know what a moped is, right?
Yeah.
Step down from motorcycle. If you don't know what a moped is.
Yeah.
And we had a hill, kind of like Mount Trashmore, maybe not as big, but very steep, right?
Yeah.
We used to walk the moped up the hill. 2 people get on this moped, and my boyfriend at the time was 6'4".
Y'all wildin'. Yeah.
and we would hit the gas.
Yeah, y'all wildin'.
And go down the
Y'all wouldn't even
hill.
let gravity do its thing. Y'all would actually like put more to it. Yeah, y'all try. Look, y'all.
And he was tall,
you
so
you
he
came
could
a
kind
long
of
way.
balance
You
it
came
a
a
little
long
bit,
way.
you know,
That's crazy.
because mopeds are kind of small, but he was tall, so all he had to do was just put his legs out, and he was like a walking kickstand, right?
Yeah.
But let me tell you, it was so fun. Like, that was the most fun.
Oh yeah. That adrenaline rush is. I mean, that like I said, that to me, I just, obviously I'm not doing that, but like I go on roller coasters and like doing things like that. To me, I still like that adrenaline rush. In a lot more controlled environment, obviously, than like doing something like that or doing something like what I did.
I'm surprised I ain't break nothing as a kid, because I did everything. Yeah. I was jumping off roofs. Yeah. Like climbing trees. Like I did everything that you can possibly think of. Yeah. Outside was my name.
I always feel like when it comes to stuff like that, like when you're not scared to do scared of like what could happen negatively in those, I don't even really think about it. I feel like most of the time those things don't happen to you. But when you're the one that's like more cautious about it and you're like, I don't know. Yeah. It's like, they say it's the power of the mind. You know what I mean? It seems like a lot of times, I remember growing up, folks like my friends or whatever, like the ones that was kind of scarier, but they would just do it just because everybody else was doing it. Them would be the ones that would get hurt the most. Yeah. Versus like, me or like other people, when we were like more just like adventurous and wanted to just like try it and we didn't care or whatever, we never would get hurt. Like nothing, it never would done no serious injuries.
I was looking so I took my son to the playground not long ago, right? I'm looking at the playground and I was like, man, these playgrounds boring nowadays. Like when I was a kid, we had a roundabout. Like you remember how dangerous the roundabout used to be? Yeah. Like we used to twirl that thing so fast and then try to jump on it. And then we used to be on it and try to jump off it as it was spinning. Yeah. Nobody ever got hurt. Yeah. But now the whole thing is removed from the park. Yeah. Yeah. We had tire swings. Yeah. We had the jungle gym. They don't got none of that stuff no more. All you got is swings.
They don't play with the stuff like how we used to play. They don't. I mean, they're just not outside as much as we were. You know what I mean? For the technology and the stuff that keeps the kids inside more now versus.
I don't even really think it's the technology. I think that honestly, it's the world. It's the environment that we're in. Because I remember when I was a kid, I could leave the house and go bike riding and be gone for hours. Yeah. You know what I mean? And now I don't trust other people. Because I feel like they're predators and my kids are gonna attract them to them. You know what I mean?
I feel like that plays into technology because we know more. Like we know exactly. Back then we were a lot more naive. Maybe and not naive in a bad way. Just like we didn't think about those things like that. You know what I'm saying? Now I feel like we're a lot more cautious as a society because we've seen these things, and these things have been put in front of us so many times that it's like, hey, I don't want that to happen.
And it's also gotten worse too.
Yeah. So,
all right. Yeah. Well, we do appreciate you listening to our podcast. Again, you can always follow me at SKB_mortgage.
Yep. And I'm Bryan, BRYAN _Royster.
All right. Okay, guys, we're going to see you next week.
See you next week.